Let's have a look and see what's inside the story box this week. Well, there's my story book for a start. That's always a good sign. And there's also a little friend of mine, Albert the Mouse. And I'm going to sit here on top of this box because I think he'd quite like to listen to the story too. So, let's begin. It's called Albert and the Long Summer Day. Albert was doing his very favourite thing, which was to lie on his back on a little pile of straw, gazing up at the blue sky. Whenever he did that, the little mice knew there would be no stories to be told, so they scampered away to play. Sometimes a perfect summer's day can be long and boring, but sometimes they can be full of adventures. A long time ago, one of Albert's ancestors lived with a boy called Ben, and this is the story of his long summer day. With a great big yawn and a stretch, Ben opened his eyes to see the golden sun streaming in through the window. Ben loved the summertime. Summer meant long days with no school and lots of time to play. When he went into the kitchen, it got even better. There on the table was a packed lunch for him. 5 little pieces of bread and 2 pieces of Uncle John's best smoked fish. He knew just what that meant. "There's no jobs today," his mum said. "You can run along and play all day if you want to. Just come home when the sun turns orange and the sky goes purple." He started off with his favourite place, the hill behind the house. For a long time he lay there among the cornstalks, looking up at the birds in the blue, blue sky. As each bird ducked and dived, he wondered what it would be like to fly. He stretched his arms out right to the fingertips as he ran down the hill to try it out. After that, Ben went down to the shore of the lake to see if he could see Uncle John and his friends out in their fishing boats catching some tasty fish. There were no boats to be seen though, even when he cupped his hands around his eyes and stared as hard as he could. Turning away from the lake, he noticed a funny thing. A great big crowd was at the bottom of the hill. Now, any boy or girl loves a crowd because it means something is happening. It might have been a fight, someone doing tricks, or maybe somebody selling something. As fast as he could, Ben ran to the bottom of the hill and then ducked and woved and pushed his way through the forest of legs to the very front of the crowd. There were no tricks, and definitely no fight, just a man telling stories. They were the best stories ever though, and the whole crowd listened and listened and listened. There were all sorts there. Old grandmas with grey hair, burly fishermen with big hairy arms, even 1 or 2 soldiers at the edge of the crowd. As time went on, the sun climbed higher and higher in the sky, and it was nearly lunchtime. But nobody seemed to mind. The man telling his stories stopped for a few minutes, and because Ben was squeezed in tight amongst them at the very front, he could hear what people were saying. "Wherever will we find lunch for all these people?" they said. "There must be thousands of them." With a very red face and a little squeaky voice, Ben stepped forward and said to the man who'd been telling the stories, "You can have my lunch if you like." The man thanked him kindly, turned his face upward and thanked God for the little lunch. Then something amazing happened. The man and his friends started to share the bits of bread and the picnic among the crowd. Breaking off little bits of bread and fish for everyone, it went on and on and on. Albert, who was thinking about the story, wondered how many delicious crumbs there were left over for mice like him. His tummy rumbled just at the thought, and he wished he had a little something to eat. In the end, there was so much food that there were 12 baskets full left over. The kind man handed 4 of them to Ben, all stacked up high from his arms to the bottom of his chin. Looking up, Ben could see that the sun had turned orange and the sky was turning purple, so he started to make his way home. He was surprised to see that Uncle John had been in the crowd too. He took some of the baskets to carry, and the 2 of them talked all about the stories and the amazing picnic lunch all the way home. Just as they reached the gate, Ben asked his uncle, "Who was that man with his lovely stories who made my lunch go all that way?" "Him," said Uncle John. "His name is Jesus, and he's my friend. Don't forget this day, little Ben, as long as you live." And Ben never did. Nor did the mouse who lived in his house, nor that mouse's children, nor his grandchildren, nor his great-great-great-great-grandchildren, nor all their grandchildren, all the way down to Albert and the little mice. Talking of little mice, one of them had just come back and brought him a fat, delicious crumb for his lunch.